Peace. What's up, everybody? This your brother, Mr. Holipsism. I hope everybody can hear me. I think you can hear me. Uh, oh, I got a message saying Hangouts on Air is going away later this year. So they're gonna get rid of Hangouts? Wow, cool. Peace, Nationhood Nico. Peace, R&P. Peace, Ronan Black. Peace, Fitz Shepherd. Peace, everybody. Yo. How many of you people saw that reparations hearing on Capitol Hill? I got a call from my cousin. I don't know if my cousin is listening right now. But my cousin, he called me up and we had a conversation on this, and he said that he was embarrassed as a black man, as a black person, watching that hearing on Capitol Hill. He said it was embarrassing. I thought it was embarrassing too, and I did y'all like a solid. I did y'all a solid because I love y'all so much. I watched the whole thing. I killed my brain cells so that you didn't have to. I basically did the Captain America. I threw myself on the grenade so I could protect everybody else. So I watched it so you didn't have to watch it. And it's the same reason why I watched that fucking what's that shit? Um Dear Black People. Oh, Dear White People, I think. That thing on Netflix. I watched the whole series just for y'all. I watched that shit show. I watched that train wreck from the first episode that pissed me off to the last episode that pissed me off. And the reason why I did it was for y'all. I did it for you so that you didn't have to watch it. It's the same thing that I did with this reparation hearing on Capitol Hill. First, I want to get some stuff out of the way. Oh, peace, Adjoa. Peace, Joel. Peace, Darian. Peace, Chocolate Hershey 86. Peace, Richard Victor. I don't know. I can't speak. Peace, Richard Victor Dixon. Peace. Um, does anybody know what HR 40 is actually? Has anybody actually gone and looked at the HR 40 bill to see exactly what it is? If you go to the description of this video or this live stream, I put the link to HR 40 in the description. I want you to click on that link and I want you to read what it is. Now, HR 40, here's the title of HR 40. HR 40 says, Commission to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans Act. Very important. Very important that you look at this. This is the summary. Here's the summary. This bill establishes the commission to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans to examine slavery and discrimination in the colonies and the United States from 1619 to present and recommend appropriate remedies. Let me read that again. This bill establishes the commission to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans to examine slavery and discrimination in the colonies and in the United States from 1619 to the present and recommend appropriate remedies. Now, why is that important? Oh, what happened? Let me go back. Hold on. Oh, okay, so why is that important? Ironically, Everybody's talking, like I'm hearing people saying, yo, if your politician, if your president is not for reparations, then they don't get our vote. HR 40 actually, in a slick way, makes it possible to pretend like you support for reparations, but not actually support it. If I was a politician, especially a white politician trying to become president, I would be jumping all over HR 40. Oh, yes, yes, I definitely support HR 40. Definitely support it. Because the dumbasses who don't know what the fuck is going on is going to think that because you support HR 40, that means you actually support reparations. No. All it means is that you support that there be a study for reparations, like to put together an organizing body to study reparations, not for actual reparations. Does anybody know that? All it takes is all you got to do is do a Google search on HR 40, the bill, look at the bill, and that's what it's saying. It's not saying that it's for reparations, it's saying that it's for a study for reparations. A commission to study and develop reparation proposals. That's what HR 40 is. If I was a white politician, I would be for HR 42. It does not mean that I'm for reparations. And the ironic part about it is, it's so dumb that the people that support HR 40 are the people of, like, if there's a white politician that supports HR 40, they're actually full of shit. But the people who say that they don't support reparations are keeping it real. But in the black talking head's mind, what it is that the person who's against it says, no, we can't support you because you're against it. But the people that are for it, they ain't for it either. At least the person who's saying that they're against it is being honest. The motherfuckers is for HR 40 is not for reparations. They are just for putting together a study. And the reason why they're for it is because they know it's going to die in committee. Oh, Eric, what's up? Eric Colazzo, Black Cyber Network. Bernie Sanders said no, so he can't have my vote. Oh man, don't do it, Black Cyber Network. Don't do it. Did you hear the first part of this live stream? Please tell me you did, because don't. HR 40 is not for reparations. It's not a bill for reparations. Sorry. It's a bill for the study of reparations. It's a put together study so we can study. And that bill is going to die in committee. Has anybody ever seen Schoolhouse Rock? Am I the only one? I know I'm not the only person to see. I wish that I knew I had the ability to play Schoolhouse Rock on here, but let me see. Maybe I'll put it in the chat room. Hold on. Check this out. You guys need to learn how government works. This is like this is what they give the kids so that they can know how the process is. There it is. I'm just a bill, exactly. How a bill becomes law. So don't fall for the okey doke. This whole thing about if you don't support HR 40, then you're not gonna get my vote. If I was a full of shit politician and needed your vote, I support HR 40 today. What difference does it make? Because it actually gives them an out, because they can claim they don't even claim to be for reparations. What they claim to be is for the bill. So you're actually giving them an out. You're actually providing an escape hatch for these fools by the way that you word this shit. So yeah, if I was a politician, I'd be down with it. Especially a white politician or a Democratic politician trying to get your vote, I'd be down with it. Yeah, I support HR 40 all day long because I can support that bill. And at the end of the day, the worst case scenario is that the bill passes and they actually start forming the committee to try to put together proposals for reparations. Worst case scenario, it dies in committee. So that's number one. this whole meme of if your so-called candidate doesn't support reparations, they don't get your vote. All they're gonna do is support HR 40. That's all. They're gonna say, oh no, they're gonna ask, oh, do you support reparations? Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I sponsored the HR 40 bill, the bill that was put forward by Conyers. What's his name? What's the dude's name? Who's the Representative John Conyers. Yes, I support that. And then these idiots are going to go, oh, wow, yeah, he supported it. Let's give him our vote. Knowing damn well. Now, ask that. Now, if that bill will never be passed, first of all, because if you just looked at Schoolhouse Rock and you listen to the song, you see how it is to pass a bill. You see the whole process. How many in America? How many states do we actually control? Are you going to get this passed by the House and the Senate and signed by the president? Really? Is that what's going to happen? Yo, what's up? The name's irrelevant. That's my cuz. Neo's in the house. Peace. Peace, anti-gravity 74. Who else? If I'm missing anybody, forgive me because I'm up here talking and going through screens. G-Rock. Oh, I want to make somebody. Who can I make? Oh, I know my cuz is probably at work, so I can't make it. Oh, Adwa. Adwa is holding the gauntlet. Thank you, sis. Let me see if there's somebody else. Does anybody else want to yield the gauntlet? Like who can act? Oh, Dundada's here. I got two, Dundada and Adwa. Okay, I'm good. I'm straight. Never mind. Bu- 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 Eric Colazo, how about a bill that decriminalizes gun ownership in minority neighborhoods so that everyone can benefit from the Second Amendment? Police brutality would plummet. Huh? That's a theory. I don't know if they don't want to give black folks guns. That's the one thing. Like that Second Amendment shit will go right out the window when it comes time to giving black folks guns. They'll come up with they'll do some Roddy Pipe on you. Just when you think you got all the answers, I'll change the questions. But yeah, man, let's get back to this hearing. Okay. This was bad, man. And y'all owe me. Y'all owe me big time because I lost major brain cells. I might have actually lost a membrane looking at this. But basically, let me give you the cliff notes. The cliff notes is that what we got was impassioned pleas on why reparations is needed. That is not the thing that concerns me because Ta-Nehisi Coates did an article a few years back breaking down, the case for reparations. To me, that's like a no-brainer. It's like most people would think that I'm against reparations by the way that I make fun of, the people who's pushing for reparations now, the people putting themselves in leadership positions, trying to push the case forward for reparations. They think that I'm against reparations as a concept. I'm not. I'm not against it. As a matter of fact, not only is America involved in the reparations process, all the European nations should be involved in it, and some would argue some of the African nations. I mean, that's a discussion. That's something on the table. But it's more than just America that's involved in the transatlantic slave trade. But since we're dealing specifically with blacks here in America, one of the things that bothers me about the whole conversation is that you have people who are making the case for reparations, but then when you start talking about how reparations are supposed to be actually instituted and doled out, don't have a fucking clue. Even Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Coates is brilliant when it comes to giving you the case for reparations, But when it comes down to actually how to implement reparations, he face plants. And mostly everybody that I've seen on that hearing face plant. Now let me read something to you. I want to read something to you. First thing I want to read is a little scene, a little piece of dialogue from a movie called The Departed. And you're going to wonder why I'm reading this to you, but you'll figure it out once I read something else. But this is how this little line of dialogue goes. I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. Years ago, we had the church. That was only a way of saying we had each other. The Knights of Columbus were real headbreakers, true guineas. They took over their piece of the city. 20 years after an Irishman couldn't get a fucking job, we had the presidency. May he rest in peace. That's what the niggers don't realize. If I got one thing against the black chappies, is this: no one gives it to you. You have to take it. That's from Frank Costello from the movie The Departed. Jack Nicholson was playing Frank Costello. Why do I mention that piece of dialogue or that line of dialogue? Well, let me go to another piece of information here that you might find enlightening. Reparations agreement between Israel and West Germany. Despite the protests, the agreement was signed in September 1952, and West Germany paid Israel a sum of 30 billion marks over the next 14 years. 450 million marks were paid to the World Jewish Congress. The payments were made to the state of Israel as the heir to those victims who had no surviving family. The money was invested in the country's infrastructure and played an important role in establishing the economy of the new state. Israel at the time faced a deep economic crisis and was heavily dependent on donations by foreign Jews, and the reparations, along with these donations, would help turn Israel into an economically viable country. If anybody in this stream knows me, and you heard what I just read to you, take a wild guess where I'm going with this live stream. Does anybody need me to read it again? You know what? I'll read it again. Reparations agreement between Israel and West Germany. Despite the protests, the agreement was signed in September 1952, and the West Germany paid Israel a sum of 3 billion marks over the next 14 years. 450 million marks were paid to the World Jewish Congress. The payments were made to the states of Israel. The payments were made to the states of Israel. The payments were made to the state of Israel as the heir to their victims who had no surviving family. The money was invested in the country's infrastructure. The money was invested in the country's infrastructure. The money was invested in the country's infrastructure and played an important role in establishing the economy of the new state. Israel at the time faced a deep economic crisis and was heavily dependent on donations by foreign Jews, and the reparations, along with those donations, would help turn Israel into an economically viable country. That was 1952. Today is 2019. Where's Israel now? Did they disappear off the planet Earth? Yeah. Where do I start? Where do I start? I keep hearing members of the A.D.O.S. Movement, or whatever you want to call it, because like they say, it's not a movement, it's not this, it's not an organization, it's not whatever. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. If you associate yourself with that term and the people that are officially behind that term, they keep using this term, cut the check. Like when you start talking about reparations, cut the check, cut the check, cut the check. My question is this: who exactly is cutting the check? Who do you expect to cut the check? Is the United States government supposed to cut the check? And if they cut the check, who are they cutting the check to? I mean, it's a good question, because I never, and most of the people that support reparations never answer these questions. My thing is this, and I don't want to be coy with this. I'm gonna be straight to the point. My point is this, and I ask this all the time: what the fuck do you want? As black people here in America, what the fuck do you want? Do you want to be American, or do you want to have your own nation state? Because it's only two, like I only see two options to this that make sense to me. If you want to be American, then what you got to do, and I mean, this may sound harsh, but this is the truth. You got to let that shit go, man. It's like being in a relationship with a girl. You want to be in a relationship, and the only thing you want to do throughout your whole relationship is point out all the fucked up shit that your girl did to you or that your guy did to you. How's that going to work? It's like people got mad at Common when he said this on Jon Stewart's show. He said that he said just what I said. It's like, how you going to be in a relationship and you keep bringing up the past and you keep bringing up all the bad stuff that happened. That relationship is not going to work. If you want to be in a relationship, and that's the key, if you want to be in a relationship, then you got to let that shit go. Got to let it go. You got to forgive the people who did what they did to you and move the fuck on. You got to put down this cultural, pseudo cultural pretensions and just be Americans. Stop identifying with Africa. Stop identifying with blackness. Be American. When 4th of July comes, you be just as patriotic as every other person in this country for your country. When your president is speaking, you turn off everything you're doing, you listen to your president. Because that's your president. You're an American. But what you can't be is on some half-ass shit where you want to be an American, but you also want to have some special privileges inside of America. That is fucking retarded. And it's not sustainable. And it creates resentment. And that relationship is not going to last. Because after all, that's what the Captain America Negro, the militant integrationist, and the Black Power American wants. They want to have a relationship with white folks in America. They want to be considered full-blown Americans like everybody else. They want equality here in America. Cool. Cool. If that's what you want, then lay down all this cultural bullshit and become American. But here's the key. For other people who don't give a fuck about America, knows that we'll never be considered Americans or have first class citizenship here in this country, that we're always going to be discriminated against, always going to have racism and discrimination and all this other bullshit against us, who would have said, you know what, I'll pass. I think I want to have a nation of my own. Then the reparations thing becomes a thing. Then we can talk about reparations because the right people are in the fucking discussion. And if you're going to have reparations, guess what? It's not going to be checks handed out to individuals. Because I made this point on Dinah's show, his live stream, a couple of live streams back when I was last on it. And I asked the guy, I said, so what do you want from reparations? He said, I want my check. And I said, oh, okay. So why don't you sue the United States government as an individual? And he was like taken aback by me asking him that. It's like, whoa, what are you talking about? Sue the American? This is something that happened to all of us. I said, oh, it happened to all of us. But I didn't hear you say you wanted a check for all of us. You said you want your check. So what it sounds like to me is you trying to get a personal check piggybacking off of our collective struggle and suffering. That's some bullshit. Why not just sue the government? If you feel you have a claim to something for a check for yourself, get yourself a fucking lawyer and sue the United States government. Don't try to piggyback or try to get on some class action lawsuit with the rest of black people so you can get a check for yourself. And I put a poll in the description. If you go to the description, it says, if A.D.O.S. in America were to receive reparations from the United States government, in what form would you opt to see the reparations distributed? And I fucking guarantee, if this poll that I have in my description was to go national, I guarantee you the vast majority of the people who vote, the vast majority of the people who vote would say that they would vote for a check for themselves. The vast majority would say that. I don't know. Actually, let me go to the poll and see what the tally is so far. Well, wait, now that, well, it hasn't gotten out yet. Right now it says a check to each individual A.D.O.S. is 0%. To the formation of our own government, independent territory, and infrastructure, that's 63%. And all of the above is 38%. So the people who saying all of the above says that we should get both, a check to each individual A.D.O.S. and reparations to help form our own government and independent territory and infrastructure. But only 16 people have voted. So I'm imagining most of those are BAIO people. But if you check in the description box, you'll see the poll and you can vote on it now if you want to. Let me get back to where I was. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let me give some acknowledgments. I'm sorry I'm running my mouth, but I just wanted to get that, make my point on that. Peace Eyewitness. Who is that? Oh, Eyewitness is actually against me. Oh, you're a bitch. Okay, I'm sorry. Get the fuck off my channel, bitch ass nigga. Yo, Dundada, don't be afraid to pull the trigger, man. That's why you have the gauntlet. Don't be afraid to pull the trigger. Anybody in here talking that shit, knock they fucking ass out of this chat room. This is not the fucking Iowa caucus. I don't give a fuck about your opinions. Anybody else? Anybody else talking some shit? Oh, Kofi's here too. He's got the gauntlet. Yo, yeah. Handle these fools, man. I don't want to deal with that shit. Now, cutting the check. That's a funny term. Who's gonna cut the check? For A.D.O.S, I would really like to know, and I wish I had somebody that was A.D.O.S on the line with me so I can ask them these questions because it's kind of unfair for me to speak for them. Who's gonna cut the check? Oh, Eric says, who would pay the checks? I would imagine the same people that's paying for Iron Dome in Israel. That's who's going to pay for it. The American people. just like they pay for everything else. They're getting ready to pay for a war against Iran right now. Yeah, I deleted them. I deleted them. It's cool. But yeah, the point that I was making with the whole thing is, especially reading that thing about Israel and West Germany, if reparations are going to be doled out, then the reparations have to go toward repairing a nation, which is what reparations is supposed to do. Supposed to repair the nation. You destroy the nation, you repair the nation. Personally, I think that we can build a nation amongst ourselves. We don't really need the reparations, but if we could get, if you were to, if you're big on getting reparations from the United States government, if you think that that's something that you should push for, I'm not against it, you know, fundamentally. I just don't think practically that it's going to ever pass into a bill and you ever get it, especially in the form that it is now, because motherfuckers can't even articulate how reparations would be doled out and what they plan to do with the reparations. If you had a nation state like Israel did, then you know what you're doing with the reparations. But all I'm hearing is a bunch of theories, theoretical shit about, oh well, you could do this and da da da. I'm hearing vouchers. I'm hearing about set asides. I'm hearing about special minority class status and all this other bullshit. And I'm sitting there going, so you mean to tell me the set asides and special minority status, that's considered black power now? That's the black power national, that's the black nationalist black power talking points, is set asides and how to be a special minority in somebody else's infrastructure. That's black power now. This is the level of the conversation, and you don't feel the same amount of embarrassment that my cousin felt and that I felt. You didn't lose the brain, well, hopefully you didn't lose the brain cells, because I did that for you by listening to that bullshit on Capitol Hill with a bunch of people giving a whole bunch of passionate pleas about why we should do this, why we should do that, and this is owed to us, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, I hear you. I hear all of that shit. I hear all of it. The question is, what's your plan as a people collectively? What do you plan to do in the future? If your plan is, well, I'm still going to be, I'm an American, I'm going to stay in America, and I'm going to stay right here in America, then what the fuck makes you think you're going to get a check if you plan on staying here in America and being an American? Because there's other Americans who feel they need checks too. You think, and it's not a matter of right or wrong. It's a question of, if somebody else is getting paid and you not getting paid, how you feel about that shit? You gonna sit there and let another group of Americans get a check and you ain't gonna get one? And then you're gonna be cool with that? And you're gonna be in this country cool, chilling with each other, no problems, no social disorder, none of that is gonna go down? And let's just say that you get the bill passed and each black person gets a check for about, let's say, the last guy I spoke to said that he thinks $300,000 a piece would be acceptable. That's what he said. So let's go with his figure. $300,000, each black person, or A.D.O.S, gets $300,000 into their personal bank account. Then what? What happens after that? Is there any plan? And I asked the guy on the show, I said, is there supposed to be some black government that forms out of osmosis when you just put a bunch of money in each individual's hand? Or is the likely scenario going to be the Dave Chappelle skit? Which one? Which one you think is going to happen? They're just going to, through osmosis and just organically, we're going to form a black government and a black nation and have land and infrastructure? Or is it going to be a Dave Chappelle skit where the stock prices for all of these companies in America is going to shoot through the roof once you put all this money in black people's hands? Which do you think is the likely scenario? See, the problem isn't reparations itself. The problem is who the fuck. It's like I have a problem with electric in my house. I have an electrical problem in my house. And instead of me getting an electrician, I'm hiring a plumber to tell me what's wrong with my electricity. That's what's going on. We got people in the discussion that don't know what the fuck they talking about. Have no clue what reparations is or fundamentally what it is, and no clue how it should be doled out or the most efficient way to do it. Just go to the past. I just read you what happened with Israel. As a matter of fact, Israel still gets, well, they might not call it reparations, they call it foreign aid. Israel still gets it. The United States built the defense system in Israel called Iron Dome. Who cut that check? Why is it that everybody understands how this shit works except black folks? And the people who are the leading voices for reparations, the reparations discussion here in America, these black talking heads are the ones who don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. And these are the people, so when the media goes and they want to know about reparations, these are the people that they're going to. They're not coming to the BAIO. They're not coming to black nationalists and African centered progressives. They're coming to these bootlicking, militant integrationist, black power American Negroes who hate America but want to stay in America at the same time. It's like what Paul Mooney said, like white people hate black people but want to be black people. Well, it's the same thing with black people here in America. They hate America but want to be America at the same time. Will curse you out if you call them African, but yet want to get reparations off of being a descendant of an African slave. Help me with that one. Where I noticed all the "we were here first" talk is right out the fucking window. What happened just a hot minute ago? Everybody was saying, "Yo, we wasn't no slaves. We was here in America first." Now all of a sudden that's out the window, and everybody's A.D.O.S. now. And it's funny that they became A.D.O.S. when Kamala Harris decided that she was going to run for office. And like I told you, when Kamala Harris, either if Kamala Harris doesn't win, which seems, she has a chance because Joe Biden is so fucking incompetent. The whole thing was about Kamala Harris, and that's when the whole A.D.O.S. and the whole reparations thing came up, because we African centered progressives and black nationalists have always made the point that what is the black agenda? And the militant integrationists and the Black Power American had no answer for that. They had no answer. Every time we would ask, well, what's the black agenda? No answer. So what did they do? They created a black agenda called reparations. Even though that reparations thing has been around way before A.D.O.S. has, poked their head up out of the sand. It's been around for a long time. But I guarantee you, and I said it before, and I will say it again on my live stream. I said it on Dinah's live stream. When the presidential elections are over, this A.D.O.S. crap is going to be over too. The whole reparation talk is going to be over. Watch. And it won't pop up its head again until the presidential election runs around. Because these motherfuckers don't give a shit about no reparations, man. They really don't. They don't give a fuck about reparations. They don't even know what reparations is. They just want to be so badly to be relevant in the discussion. Let me tell you how stupid this whole if you don't if you don't if you're not for reparations, you don't get our vote. Hillary Clinton got our vote to the tune of about 90 something percent. What happened? Black people in mass didn't vote for Donald Trump. Black people in mass didn't even vote for Bernie Sanders. Black people in mass voted for Hillary fucking Clinton. I mean, I wish I don't want to even do a search because it's just I don't want to search that shit. But if you do a Google search, you'll see the percentage of African American women and the percentage of African American men that voted for Hillary Clinton, and it was very substantial. And despite that support, what happened? Did Hillary Clinton become president? So who do you think you threatening with this vote? Like your vote actually means fucking something. Who are you threatening with that? Because all you're going to get is a bunch of people bullshitting you, telling you that they support something when you don't even realize what it is that they're actually supporting. They're not supporting reparations. They're just supporting a study for reparations. Bernie Sanders was at least honest with you. He said, no, I don't, until somebody can tell me how this shit is going to happen. No, I don't support it. But he's your enemy. But the motherfucker who's your friend is the one who's bullshitting you by saying that they support HR 40. That is so fucking ironic, man. That is so fucking ironic. Anyway, anybody got any questions for me? I don't think I need to go on any further. I've talked about 45 minutes on this shit. I really need to say anything else? Oh yeah, wait, no, I will say this. Let me sum it up on my end. If anybody's going to cut a check, you know who I want to cut the check? I want our government to cut the check. Any reparations, I want to go to an organized body, meaning our government that we haven't formed yet, but we should. I want the money to go to our government so we can have a piece of territory where we can build infrastructure on our land. And if there's any cut checks to be cut for individuals, I want my government cutting the check. How about that? I'm not going to let the United States government kneecap me by getting past my organized government and bringing the money directly to me. Because all I'm going to do if I'm in America is spend the money in America. Everybody. I don't give a fuck if you nationalist, you black power American, militant integrationist. If you get a reparations check as an individual in America, that money is going to America. Because the vast majority of the people in the A.D.O.S. is saying, fuck Africa. I don't want nothing to do with Africa. My people is right here. So by them doing that, sending out individual checks to individual people, they're they're kneecapping you. You'll never get power because you never organize. So my thing is this. This is my position on reparations. And if you want to approach the United States government for reparations with this position, you have Holip's 100% support. And my position is this. We need our own fucking government. We need our own territory. And if you have any reparations or any money owed to African Americans or descendants of slaves, then you put that money to our government. Our government can build up our infrastructure and our government can pay us individually if that's what we need. Then you have my full support for reparations. So I'm not against reparations. I'm just against the incompetent way that people are presenting reparations on the world stage as African Americans. It's a fucking embarrassing. How are you going to call yourself a goddamn man and your position is a set aside or a special privilege? So then basically you telling your pimp you want to be his bottom hoe. You want to be his bottom bitch. And you mad because he putting all these other bitches before you. That's your fucking position as a black man in America? That's how you're approaching the United States government? Like you approaching your pimp and you mad because he got some other bitch. He's sitting next to him in the fucking Cadillac instead of you? That is so fucking embarrassing. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And I hope that video of the hearing didn't go viral. I hope that it didn't go viral, man, because that's fucking embarrassing. As a black man, I can't speak for the sisters, but I'm speaking for myself as a black man. I'm speaking for my cousin. It's humiliating and embarrassing the way that those people conducted themselves on that hearing, man. It was, oh my God. None of these people give a fuck about owning and controlling anything. They are perfectly happy with getting crumbs that falling from the white man's table. As long as they can get the crumbs falling from the table, and as long as they're put first to get the crumbs, they cool. Just put us first. You put the immigrants second, put the other minorities and the LGBT and the women's and all that shit, put them behind us. We want the crumbs first. And that's black power in this day and age right now. Thank God for the BAIO. And I'm going to put the link in the thing. I know all of y'all are BAIO, but fuck it. I'm going to put it in there anyway. Oh, wait, this is the poll link. Let me put that in case the poll is in the description box, in case you wanted to know. This is the poll. I hope it posts. Yeah, that's the poll. This is HR 40, in case anybody doesn't believe me or think that I'm lying. Here's HR 40. I'm posting that. Read the bill. It's not for reparations. It's for putting together a study for reparations. If I'm lying, make a video and call me out on it. And this, oops, wait, no, not this. Where is it at? I'm putting the BAIO info next. Make sure you vote on that poll, by the way. And pass that poll around, because I'm anxious to see. If we was to pass that poll around to A.D.O.S, then I guarantee you the number one thing would be checks. Number one. Here is BAIO sign up. If you're not a member of the BAIO, sign up to the BAIO, because the reality is, and I think that this hearing just makes it glaringly clear, the BAIO is the only group right now that's working in the interests of African people here in America. The only one. The only one that doesn't have his head up his collective ass. The only one that is interested in obtaining power and holding power and competing with other nations on the world stage. Everybody else is trying to get in where they fit in. They're just trying to get a check. Like I'm telling you, that's what they want. They want a check for themselves. They don't get, and that check is not going to translate to any government or any type of organized institution for black people in America. Not going to happen. Well, actually, the check ain't going to happen either. So, I mean, this is all hypotheticals we're speaking. They ain't going to get no check anyway. So the real question is, what are you going to do in the meantime while you're begging the white man for checks? And people are uncomfortable with me saying begging, but it is begging if you don't have a way to get what you want. What's that old Sicilian proverb? Never ask for what you don't have the ability to take. That's why when people ask you for stuff, it's a threat. I made this point before, and I'll make it again. When you, like, let's say you have a business in your neighborhood, and some finely dressed Italian men come to your business, and they asked you if you would like to be protected by them. Now, they're asking you, but are they really giving you a choice? Even though they're asking a question, what is this presupposition? What's all of the context or the subtext to that entire conversation? Violence. I'm going to protect your business, and if I don't protect your business, maybe something might happen to your business. Do you see what I'm saying? Everybody else understands what a question is and asking for stuff means. You don't ask for shit to governments, because the first thing the government is thinking is, well, I'm not going to give it to you. So what are you going to do next? And if the government feels that the only thing you're going to do is just ask a little bit harder after I turn you down, then guess what? You ain't getting shit. You ain't getting shit. Now turn that around. If the Italian guy says he wants to help you with your business and he wants to offer protection services for your business and you turn him down, what's going to be the response? Nice little business there. Be ashamed if something happened to it. And then the next day you come home, you come to your business and your business is burnt to the fucking ground. Or better yet, every day you getting taxed like a fucking ATM where all the local thugs is coming into your business and running up in that place and taking your money. Of course, the Italian guy ain't gonna tell you that the guys that's taking your money, they work for him. He ain't gonna tell you that. But the bottom line is that little question that he asked you, he's gonna get results for his question because he has leverage. Oh, thank you. Fitwari Fitness, you beat me to the punch. Leverage. If you don't have any leverage, it doesn't matter what you ask for. We're sitting up here slap boxing with people who are samurais. People are trying to take your fucking head off, and you're sitting here having a slap boxing session with them. You're not taking this stuff fucking seriously. And until we get some people that represent us, that understand what power is, understand what social and political control is, why would you want to associate yourself with these lightweights? Because that's what they are. They're lightweights. They're not serious. Anyway, anybody got any questions for me? I hope I made my point. If I made my point, can somebody press number one? If I feel like sometimes I'm rambling. Maybe I rambled off or something. Can somebody press one and tell me, did I make my point in this live stream, or am I just talking shit? Because I want to be coherent. Thank you. Well, at least I'm making some sense to some people. Yeah, cut the check, man. Cut the check. You know who I want to cut the check? I want our government. I don't know what our government is even going to be called at this point, but whatever it is, I want my government to cut me a check. I don't want the United States government to cut me anything. As a matter of fact, anything you want to cut, you give it to our government, and our government will be on our land, building up our infrastructure, employing our people, and giving checks to our people who need it. I'm down with that. I mean, I really personally don't even need the individual check, because if we had our own land and our own government and our own infrastructure being built, we would be millionaires anyway, because we'd be reinvesting in ourselves. All the construction companies that's working in our nation, we would be paying and giving money to in our 401k. We would be keeping all of that shit in our nation. Eric Colazo, this is why gun ownership matters. It's the ultimate leverage. I agree, man. I agree. I'm not one of these people who are anti-gun. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of pissed off because when I went to Atlanta with my cousin, I was able to go to the range and shoot. Let me try to do that shit in New York. I got to get a blood, urine samples, DNA. They got to take my hair, and it's like, what the fuck? Just for me to go and shoot at a range? But I agree, man. I agree with Eric on that one, man. Lighten up these fucking gun laws in New York. I should be able to have a gun and I should be able to carry. If we're gonna have people around here carrying and people getting shot, let us all have some guns and let's turn this shit into the wild, wild west. Fuck it. It's already that anyway. But you want to take guns from like, why is it that me, a working person, can't go, can't first of all have a gun and can't go to a shooting range and shoot a gun? But yet a motherfucker who's out here doing all kinds of dirt has guns galore. And the police more than likely know that they have guns and they still got the guns. They don't go in the police know where the drug spots are. Yes, drugs are still being dealt in the community. The police know where the guns are, but guns are still being in the community. I mean, isn't that thing that Malcolm X said true? He said, the where you find the most police, you're going to find the most crime. Isn't that funny? Ah, I support guns in Afghanistan. Yeah, I support guns. I support guns. I mean, that's a discussion that we can, I'm willing to have a discussion about that. Like there's nuance to that, but I do support guns, man. I support it. I think that if you're a working person, you're you know, like if you, and keep in mind there's other, like I said, it's nuance because there's other people too. Like I don't believe that certain things should keep you from having a gun. But let's just say everything's above the board and you're a decent working class person, no record, no, you know, you're basically a good citizen. What's the fuck is the problem with you not having a gun? Why do they have an issue with you having a gun? Yeah, like Eric said, people in the suburbs don't have the same issue. So yeah, I support it. But like I said, that's if y'all want to have a discussion about that, we can have a show involving gun ownership and stuff and how I feel about that. But for right now, I'm talking about the reparations thing. And plus, you know, I'm kind of biased with the guns because I'm trying to. I had so much fun shooting that P320 Sig, that Sig Sauer P320 compact. Oh my god. Oh my god, they should have never let me shoot that gun. They should have never let me shoot that gun. Because now, and Sig is coming out with guns like crazy. They seem like every 6 months they got a new version of the P320 and they X series. They be coming out with them shits like crazy, man. But Sig is my favorite right now in terms of like the guns, in terms of handguns. Yeah, I agree, Eric. There should be no gun laws for adults. No gun laws for, and if anything, they should be gun training. Like if you have to go and get a permit to learn how to drive a car, what's wrong with getting a permit to shoot a gun? So you can become skilled and know how to handle a gun, know about gun safety. But like, oh, let me get off the gun discussion. You'll get me all in that. But anyway, in terms of the reparations thing, anybody got any questions for me on that? Oh, you know, I'll let you know, Eric. Definitely. But for my message to the 80, for the people who claim to be for reparations, but really about a check for themselves, I think your best bet is to just become an American, man. Become an American. Embrace America. Put your hand on your heart and you know, salute the flag. Put down your pseudo cultural pretensions. Stop it with all this black shit and just be an American, man. Just be an American. Now you and I both know how that's going to work for you, but it makes more sense than the route you're taking now. The route you're taking now is really stressful, man. It's really stressful on your mind. It's really stressful on your body. You know, you're going around here trying to get these people to accept you as equals, and you'll never be considered an equal in their society because, as Ferris Bueller said, you can't respect somebody who kisses your ass. Words of knowledge from Ferris Bueller. He said you cannot respect somebody who's kissing your ass. And if you constantly kissing the people in power's ass and letting them know that you can't do nothing without them, then guess what? They're going to exercise power over you and control over you. That's why I said, like, if there's a group of us who want to push for reparations, if you're going to push for it in a way that I suggested you push for it. But by no means am I dependent upon reparations for us to do what we have to do. If motherfuckers can spend $14 or more on a pack of fucking cigarettes, and I'm talking about there's people that smoke a pack a day. You mean to tell me you can't put $10 a month toward an African American fund so you can start funding the things that you're interested in having? Let's say that you don't want nothing to do with Africa, right? And you want to stay right here in America. What's wrong with getting the Africans that's here in America to start an African American fund where all of us are contributing to that fund on a monthly basis? You can start if you did that, then you could actually start doing it right here in America. But you have leadership that's so fucking incompetent, they won't even make that suggestion. Amazing. Amazing. Kavita 8, peace. How do you see the black race in the next 20 years? Because reparation isn't going to save them from the rude awakening that's yet to come. If black people don't get their mind right, that's a whoo, boy. I would have to give you, Kavita, I would have to give you a broad stroke on how I feel about that. This is what I feel. I feel that the issue coming forward in the next 20 years or more is going to be about water. I think that there's going to be water wars. And I think that Africa is in a great position because if we had competent leadership in Africa, and if we had, let's say, other African nations took on the role of, or took on the model of Rwanda, like where you had leadership in the African nations that was trying to end corruption and trying to get rid of corruption and trying to make their nation a first world nation. And that model was replicated throughout the replicated throughout the continent, where we can actually get into a position where we can have a united Africa, because you can't have a united Africa if you have all these African countries that's corrupt. You got to first start cleaning up the corruption in these countries and start, and the only people that's going to do that is the citizens of that nation. You know, instead of running to America and then complaining about how black folks are, how about you stay in your own fucking country and start cleaning it up? Because as far as I'm concerned, you're a coward if you ran from your country and you came over to America and now you're going to talk shit to what African Americans should be doing. What the fuck? You got ran out of your own country. Could you imagine us being run out of Afghanistan? Imagine them running African Americans out of Afghanistan. If any nigger or Negroes think that they're going to take over Afghanistan and enrich themselves and put the rest of the population in poverty, them niggas would be dead. You think African Americans going for that bullshit? We went through all this trouble to establish our own country, establish our own nation, and we're going to let a few handful of Negroes take it over? You a fucking punk if you got run out of your country. You and your countrymen should have got together and kicked the ass, because there's more people than there are government. And newsflash, even in your military has family. They have people that are civilians that live in the country that they're in. So you have allies there. So that's my broad speak. Like, I think that if we don't get control of Africa, once the water wars start, European countries and every other country is going to take over Africa completely, and then we're going to be knocked out of the box. If we don't get on the ball quickly, and take control of our continent, we won't have a continent to take control of. And if the continent is going to be overrun with foreigners, stealing up the resources more than they are now, and you won't have black folks in control of shit. So we won't be in control of shit in America, and we won't be in control of shit on the continent. That's my broad stroke of where I feel that this is going until we, because nobody seems to have this sense of urgency. Nobody has a sense of urgency when it comes to this nationhood shit, except the people here in the BAIO. We have it, but we're a small group of people compared to the vast majority of black people here in America. And unfortunately, we don't have a big ass microphone. So the only way they're going to know about it is if everybody keeps spreading the word through word of mouth and trying to recruit and get, no, I won't say recruit, but get people of like mind to say, hey, buddy, I'm throwing up this light over here. We exist. There's other people that think like you. We need to get together. Could y'all excuse me for 1 second? I'm going to pause myself for 1 second. I got to answer this door. See, this is why I need a co-host. That way, when I'm signing for a package, I can have somebody co-host the show for me. Okay. Ba, 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 ba. Nationhood Nico says, I wish a foreign entity would try and buy 1 square mile in our country. A.D.O.S says water wars will be one way of executing the eugenicist agenda of depopulation. What it says, have you heard what I think Hershey Company feels about water rights? No, I haven't. Fitness says Negroes want a silver bullet. They want to say one magic word or join one religion or get a big check, and that would make everything better. Yeah, they want microwave solutions. Hey, what's up, Kex? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Kexia is in the house. Give us some love. Make sure you join her YouTube channel because a lot of stuff is going to be popping off there in the future. Left my glasses. What's up, Darius? Yeah, make sure you join her channel. Kexia is whipping us into shape. We're like that lazy fat guy on the couch, and she came in and said, "All right, come on, get up, do these drills." But yeah, man, that's all I really had to say. To be honest with you, I mean, unless y'all want to get into, we're not getting into this gun discussion because that's a show within itself. I'm not going to get in that, but I do, since everybody's interested in that, I think that'll probably be my next live stream where we talk about gun control and how we feel about that in our fledgling new nation. What will be the gun policy of Afghanistan? That sounds like a good show. Darius says the need for Black nationalism and Pan-Africanism need to be spread. There needs to be a movement, a mass movement. There will be a mass movement, I believe, when the BAIO becomes the default for nationalists. You know, because to me, they are the default for nationalists. And the funny thing about it is, we're not even up and running full-fledged organization yet. We're in our baby stages, and yet we're still. It's a damn shame when like your kid who's just learning to walk is making more moves than the parents. Isn't that fucking sad? I said that before. It's an embarrassment to the culture that anybody is listening to me. It's an embarrassment to the culture that I have a voice that people should be listening. We should have so many educated and intelligent people doing these live streams and enlightening our people and making moves and organizing and doing all of this shit. It takes some dipshit from Brooklyn to think about land infrastructure nationhood. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. It really is. Nationhood is not really gonna be a choice in a few years. This is about to get very uncomfortable in this country for our people. Yeah, A.D.O.S, it's not only gonna get very uncomfortable in this country for our people, it's gonna get very uncomfortable for Africans on the continent. Our fates are tied together whether we like it or not. The smart ones know this. The smart continental Africans know it, and the smart African Americans and African diasporans know it. We are all we've got. So anybody that's sitting up here trying to make an enemy between Africans in America and Africans on the continent or Africans in the diaspora to make it seem like we some completely fucking separate people, you need to leave them motherfuckers alone because they don't know what they're talking about and they're actually doing a lot of fucking damage because our fates are tied together. iTuber 012. Oh, you're a Manza. What's up? Mr. Spacely says, unfortunately, I think we will have to lose many more lives before people here wake up and want nation. You know what? I'm gonna tell you this. I'm a baby step person. I've been trying for the last 3 times to get a New York hangout going, like get people in New York to actually meet each other. and it hasn't been a huge turnout. So forgive me if I don't have much faith in people in general, because I feel like if you can't even do little things like meet with the people in your own fucking neighborhood or meet with the people in your same city, then I don't have much confidence in our ability to mass move anything if we can't even do that. You mean to tell me that you can't even go to a movie and a dinner with people that that believe in the same things you believe in? Yeah, it is. It really is shocking. It really is shocking. I put out the evite for the next I put an evite out for the end game. I put an evite out for like the major tentpole movies that come out, because I figured that was a time where people would want to really go out and see something and that we can meet each other. Spider-Man is coming out. I put out an evite for that. Not really getting that big of a response, you know? So, but I'm not giving up. I mean, because I do get to meet new people because new people come to each one. I met people at the ones that we went to, you know. I'm not meeting hundreds of people, but I am meeting, a lot of people that I haven't met before. And I'll take that. I'll take that. But I don't trust, if you can't get together with people of like mind and actually hang out and go out with each other and meet each other. And I mean, I don't give a damn if it's just meeting up and having a cup of coffee. That's something. But if you can't do that, then you expect me to believe that we're going to organize on some mass level and then go get some land and do this and get the fuck out of here. That ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen, because you got to have people that you can work with. And the only way you can work with people is if you know them. You got to know them. You got to know each other. You got to trust people. And the only way you can do that is by forming bonds and friendships. It's like what Minister DeWood was saying yesterday. He was going through some stuff, and I had no clue about the problems he was having. Like I didn't know that he had lost his job and all this other stuff that was going on. And I said, son, don't ever let that happen again without letting somebody know what the fuck is going on. Like he said, he's not used to that, but that's the way it is. We supposed to be family. I don't want, if Patrick is going through some shit and he got BAIO fam, let them know what's going on, and we can probably help Patrick, or help A.D.O.S, or help Dundada, or help, Adjoa, or whoever. If you're going through some shit, you have a support system that's in place. I know that we're not used to that. We're not used to the support system because a lot of us have been out here on our own ass and handling shit on our own because we don't have anybody around that thinks like we do. But we have each other. You know what I'm saying? That's why I cannot stress that it's important for you to meet people. I mean, the most recent member that I met was Ronan Black. Love that brother, man. I'm so happy to have met him, because we've been communicating back and forth, online for years. To actually meet him was really cool. Meet people. Let people know who you are, man. If you're in New York, meet people in New York. If you're in California, meet people in California. The problem is everybody's sitting back waiting for something. Stop that. Stop that mentality of sitting back waiting for shit to happen. Get yourself involved, man. Get yourself involved in the process. Meet people. Reach out to people. If you're in a certain state and you see that a meet and greet hasn't happened, don't just sit there and just, oh, I guess nobody's meet. Go out and ask people, yo, son, yo, let's hook up. I'm here. I'm here in Mississippi. What's going on? Where my Mississippi people at? I'm here in Atlanta. What's going on? We haven't had a meet and greet in Atlanta since last year or something. Let's meet up. You know, meet people, form bonds, because that's the only way that this shit is gonna kick off, man. If you don't form bonds, nothing's gonna fucking happen. But anyway, I guess that's it, because I already discussed it. I guess Kex here, you're probably gonna have to check the archive. And actually, I'm gonna holler at you when I get off of here, Kex here, because I want to ask you a question about the New York chapter. But Darius says we have to spread the education because we have to know what past Black nationalist movements have came up short on. Trust, already way ahead of you. Eric Sway, what's up, man? I've with you, Darius. Kind of bugs me how we just kind of have that, well, we messed that up attitude and just abandon that whole nation. Yeah, we throw in the towel too quickly, man. We don't have this attitude of it's not over until I win. When I win, then it's over. I've looked at a special on when the Giants beat the Patriots. Like the Patriots won every game that season and season and playoffs and lost the Super Bowl to the Giants. And when you look at um the when you look at the behind the scenes and what was going on the sidelines, what's the dude that's on Good Morning America with the gap in his mouth? Michael, what's his name? I keep drawing a blank. What's the dude's name on Good Morning America and all those shows now? Michael Strahan? That's his name? Yeah, Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan in the Giants defense was like, yo, we are winning this game. I don't give a shit what the odds are. We are going to win this game. That was their attitude, and that attitude paid off. Yeah, Strahan. I don't know what y'all think about Strahan now, but I'm talking about him as a football player. I don't know about him as a dude or his personality, but as a football player, got mad respect for that dude. Yep. But Eric, number one on the agenda is you got to meet people. You got to meet people. You got to organize and meet with people who's in your fucking local chapter. That's the number one thing. I cannot stress that enough. Do you know? Do you know how we ended up going on forming this Rwanda trip? This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. It was on a live stream, a Google Hangout where we were just all talking. It was Bell on there, Neo was on there, and we were just talking about and we were talking about Rwanda specifically because we were looking at all the things that Paul Kagame had done. And in the course of us having that Google Hangout, what came out of that, just a conversation with us just hanging out and talking. What came out of that was the idea that we should go on a trip as a group to Rwanda. Nobody was thinking about that. Before we had that hangout, nobody was thinking about that. But because we had that conversation and we was going back and forth, that's what developed. So please don't trivialize the meet and greets. Don't trivialize the Google Hangouts. Good stuff comes when you put great people together, good shit comes from those meetings. And I should know, like on a creative level, you put a bunch of creative people together, you get a lot of powerfully good shit. And it's the same thing with nationhood. People got to get it out of their head that it's got to be some, you know, big event or something that makes it. No, all it has to do is you getting together with other people because that's like fuel for you. That's like oxygen for you. That's what keeps you going. That's what the slave theater did for me and did for Mac and did for my people who used to go there. It used to give us fuel because we would get beat up the whole week dealing with this white man and his bullshit and Negroes and they bullshit. And then on a Wednesday night, we can go to some place where we was surrounded by nationalists, surrounded by people coming there with information. And once we left that place, we was charged up. Now we can go another week. These little live streams, these little meet and greets, these little Google Hangouts is fucking fuel for your tank. And if you don't have them, how are we going to get anything done? Everybody's talking about these highfalutin ideas and plans about getting land and going over and building shit. Nigga, you can't. How are we going to do that if we can't even meet? And I can say, me being a person in New York, I've made every attempt to meet with people in New York. Now, I wonder if everybody in the New York chapter can make the same statement. Because I see every time I put up an invite, all I'm getting is no, can't make it, no, can't do it, da. When am I going to get a yes? Or why don't the person who's always turning it down create a meet and greet so we can go when they can? It shouldn't be just on me to do it. You know what I'm saying? We got to get involved, man. That's my biggest fucking beef with us as a people, man. We keep sitting back waiting for something to happen, waiting for somebody to do something, waiting to get marching orders. Are we adults or are we children? Get your ass into the fucking game. Bring your skills into the fucking game. Instead of coming into the BAIO asking where to land at and what we can do for you, ask what can you do for the BAIO? How about that? Because the BAIO is us. We are the BAIO. It's not no single individual. Nobody's getting paid from this shit. And if we don't get our asses involved, nothing's going to get done. And on that note, I'm going to leave. Get me something to eat. Talk to Kexia. Oh, A.D.O.S, the slave theater is gone. It was demolished. It's no longer there. There's just a fucking lot. So that lot is a testament to the Negroes of Brooklyn. Congratulations, Negroes. This is what you accomplished here in Brooklyn. Destroying a landmark. But anyway, I'll holler at you good people later. Thank you for all the likes. There's 2 bitches who gave me a thumbs down. It was probably that asshole that I kicked out in the beginning. Fuck them. But we got 48 likes, 43 people watching now. That's not bad. Hopefully you people catch the archive and try to pass this archive around. Try to distribute BAIO content around because I keep getting these videos in my Facebook inbox saying, watch this before it's deleted. And then I watch it and it's a bunch of militant integrationist, Black Power American bullshit. But I never get a video saying, yo, watch this BAIO shit before they delete it. So let's try passing this information around and sharing it and not being scared. Stop being scared of your coworkers or what they might think. I'll take all the heat. You don't have to say anything. Like just say, oh, that's that dude Holip. He's just talking that crazy shit. I'll take it. I don't mind. But pass the material around. We could need to make Nationhood go viral. Land infrastructure Nationhood needs to go viral like this A.D.O.S shit is going viral. And I'm sorry, you know, I don't want to shit on A.D.O.S completely because I'm down with the distinction of African descendants of slaves, not American descendants of slaves. Because fuck that. Hey, I'm Lucy. Peace. I'm down with that. But anyway, let me get off of here. I keep saying I'm going to go. I'm going now, finally. Catch y'all later. Peace.